kick off. So welcome everyone. Super excited to have you all with us today. It's been a little while since we've last run a session like this, but we're thrilled to be kicking off these webinars again. Hopefully this will be the first of many this year and moving forward. Today's a big one, and we can't wait to share some incredible insights with you today. All right, I'll start with introducing our fantastic speakers for today's session. First up, we've got Jackson Barton. Jackson's an AI and automation expert here at Atlantic Digital. He plays a crucial role in driving innovation and efficiency here at our company. With extensive experience in AI and automation, Jackson's passionate about leveraging technology to transform businesses, and we're excited to have him sharing his insights with us today. Also, we have our special guest, Fiona Golanini. Fiona is a Microsoft ambassador. Sorry, Fiona, I didn't do that justice. Fiona is a Microsoft ambassador for AI as a service, specifically focusing on Microsoft 365 Copilot. She specializes in harnessing AI-driven insights and tools to help organizations achieve their goals. We're thrilled today to have Fiona with us to share her expertise. I'm your host, Aaron, and I'm joined here with our moderators, David, our technology manager, and Letitia from our business support. And together, we'll ensure that you have a smooth and informative session. David, Letitia, and I will be available throughout the entire session as well to answer any questions that you have during the session. So feel free to pop your questions in the Q&A section. And let's give a warm welcome to Jackson and Fiona.
Thank you.
I'll dive quickly into what we'll be covering off this session. First up, we'll be talking about unlocking advanced productivity with Fiona. We'll show you how to harness the power of Microsoft's Copilot to revolutionize your workflow. You'll learn advanced productivity techniques that you can use straight away to help streamline tasks, enhance collaboration, and achieve more in less time, which is what we all really want to do, right? Next, we'll explore supercharging your business by integrating AI agents with legacy systems with Jackson. We'll discuss how Microsoft Copilot can act as a superpower for your business, driving efficiency and innovation. Finally, at the end of the session, hopefully that's what you're all here for, we'll guide you on how to book your free AI consultation with us and discover opportunities within your own business. Plus, we'll explain how you can win one of the 12-month Copilot subscriptions that we have up for grabs. Throughout the session, as I mentioned earlier, we'll be running a live Q&A with our team to answer any questions that you might have, so feel free to ask away. And without further ado, let's get started. Over to you, Fiona.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Aaron. I hope everyone can hear me properly. Welcome. I'm very excited to share what I'm very keen to share with many small business owners. I was in business myself as a small business owner for many years. And this technology has, honestly, it's here and now, and it's revolutionized how we can save time. So the topic that I'm presenting is on Microsoft 365 Copilot. There's many different Copilots out there. And unfortunately, Microsoft haven't got a great way of branding and renaming each of their tools. So this Microsoft 365 Copilot allows you to access all of your business applications, all your files in the cloud, and utilize AI to speed things up. Think of this, it is Copilot, so think of this as your incredibly smart, speedy intern. So let me get started. And I'm sorry if I'm doing a live demo with you because I feel like that's raw and real. I wanted to share though, to put a framework around this, I wanted to share the latest report that Microsoft has done in ANZ with a small group of business owners, 471 business leaders, and everyone is finding that AI is saving time in their business. Now, there's many forms of generative AI, and what we're talking about really is the Microsoft 365 Copilot, which I will cover in a moment. But really what's important is to see how it can save time from pretty much month one, day one. There is change management involved. You have to get used to, using something new. And I hope today I will show you how easy that is. But 51% of Copilot users save 1 hour a day off the bat, pretty much within the first month, 21% save 2 hours a day. Now, how are they, what are they, how is it changing how and what they spend time on? Content preparation, massive. Emails, scanning through emails, ideally focusing on what's urgent and prioritizing that. So from a time management perspective, that's really, really handy. Analyzing and summarizing long documents. I'll show you something right at the end, towards the end of my demo. Even from an HR perspective, look, we all have to recruit people. Even comparing resumes, AI will do that and do it incredibly well. So there's lots of, it's very, it can be quite role specific, but today I'm going to give you a bit of an overview to sort of whet your appetite in terms of all the different Office applications. But how would your time be redeployed? Well, let's go and, sell more. Let's go out and, business owners, operations managers, you've all got time that you could be, the time that you would create from saving doing mundane tasks could be easily deployed doing some smarter things that we're meant to be doing in our jobs. So let's launch in. I'm going to cover, and I'll make sure I try to be very specific when I jump in between the applications. We will start in Microsoft Teams because that is the one application that is the most heavily used and not necessarily the only time saving, but it's the most heavily used with M365 Copilot. I'm going to then jump to Outlook, move into Word, PowerPoint, Excel, and in the finale, I really do want to end on this business chat, even though you will see this throughout. Don't mind the terminology too much because the applications that I'll be sharing with you are very, very, very familiar. Before I launch in, because we're on a webinar and because I can't show you this particular bit live, what is Copilot in Teams and how do you use it? The reason I bring up this slide is to really use my pointer. So there'll be a Copilot icon in each of the Office applications. And similarly here, you can see there's that Copilot icon. Now, you can use it, two ways of using it in Microsoft Teams, to do a remote meeting as well as an in-person meeting. Now, people are always surprised to hear that you could use Copilot for a face-to-face meeting. And it's possible. I've given little instructions there. If you need help using your Teams app on your phone or your laptop to do any of these, reach out to Atlantic Digital and I'm happy to have a chat to you. But really what's crucial is, what is a transcription? It provides, a transcription, but it's an integration tool. I had a meeting this morning and someone really wanted to have, really for me to decipher what that was. And so I've changed the wording. It allows you to, it's actually integration tool, integrates the topic and the content for you. So you can use it in either of recording, which will record and transcribe, or just transcription. So let's get started. With the remote meetings, I'll go into that secondary because I actually want to show you what an in-person meeting, how those notes look, because I think some of you may be a little bit doubtful in terms of how it captures. So let me get into this 1 second. Bear with me, I'm just bringing my Teams up. Now, if you can still see my screen, I've pinned it to the top. It's just called Meeting with Fiona Golinelli. It gives you the meeting date because if you're meeting with multiple people face to face, you need to decipher who that was with. But look how clever this is. It will give you a meeting recap and the action items from this discussion. I've kept this very short for demo purposes, but I was discussing the budget for 2025 with a gentleman called Steve James. Yes, I called out his name in the face-to-face meeting. But what's interesting is that Steve then started talking about his commitment from a sales perspective of committing at growing his territory by 10%. So it was able to pick up the actual other person in the meeting. That's so Steve when he actually discussed that. I brought then up other people's names just to test if Copilot picked it up, and it did. So the Cassandras of the world and the Jacks of the world were mentioned in that, and it provided me with follow-up tasks. Now, I'm going to show you another detailed one, but you could easily just copy and paste that into an email, adjust it slightly just to make sure, and we'll go through that in a moment, but adjust it slightly, and the time saving of that is just phenomenal. Gone are the days of handwritten notes. If you were to do the full transcription, you will get all the details. So just say you wanted to really drill down into some of that, each and every word of the conversation is also there. I'm conscious of time, so I'm going to keep moving. Here's a webinar. Now, I'm going to show you just some very cool things in terms of, it's based on cybersecurity, right? You can see my Copilot icon there. It's just going to generate that. Now, these things, just make that a little bit more visual. Whenever I talk about prompting, you can see that here. It's how you communicate to Copilot. And if I've got time, I will show you the right and wrong way to actually talk to Copilot or prompt. Copilot will always, in every Office application, give you some suggestions, so you don't have to think. If you've got a brain fog, you don't have to, worry. So it will recap, action items, list follow-up questions, and so on. Now, for the purpose of today, I said in this webinar, it was of cybersecurity, what items were not covered. I kept it really short, and it actually brought up a response. Just to prove how quick that is. It's not one of the regular prompts. I've just used it off the cuff. I'm actually going to show you the speed with which this happens. And it is absolutely quick. So you're talking about seconds. I'm actually going to show you when I'm in Word, it takes 8 seconds to do a job description if you actually had to hire, write a job description and an ad for someone. So we're talking about really quick responses and access to the data. I'm not going to spend any more time here because I am watching my clock, but I hope this just gives you a little bit of an idea on how easy and quick it is for in-person meetings to take notes and action items as well as remote meetings. Let's go over to Outlook because that is the next amazing application that we all use. Before I actually show you an actual email template, I know that's pretty common. Let me bring up, because this is, if I'm in an email template, I can't access Copilot chat. Now you're saying to me, well, what is Copilot chat? And this is what it is. So it allows you to, from the Outlook application, it allows you to ask questions, book some meetings and so on. And for the purpose of the demo, book 1 hour, I should put meeting. Now, I have a number of colleagues here at Crayon where, many hundreds of people. But Copilot knows, and we have multiple Kates, and we have multiple names. Copilot will pick up the Kate that I frequently liaise with. Now, you're going to question me on that. It's going to say, well, is it learning? It's getting used to, Microsoft say it doesn't learn, but it will get used to my regular interactions with Outlook. So book a 1 hour meeting with Kate. Let me put a comma. Charanya, which is unique. And who can else? Let me just say, I'm stuck. John. You can do this in calendar. I think it maybe you'll question me on this. You can do this in the calendar, but Copilot will do this quicker. It will scan through all of their calendars to identify a time that we're all available. And John, we call Jonah, is included in that because I regularly liaise with these 3 people. And then all I have to do is send. So that saved me a lot of time, especially with people with busy calendars. What other prompts? You've got a lot of prompts. So you can schedule meetings, you can catch up on emails. So please, and I am being polite to it, provide me with unread emails that are urgent for me to respond to. You might have come back after a couple of hours out of the office and you're bombarded. Aren't we all in that scenario? And you please don't judge me on my Outlook, even though I use Copilot. But this is incredibly helpful from a time management perspective because it will round down the emails that are highest priority. It will point me to the email and direct me to that email that I have to respond to, and do that literally within seconds. So I don't have to go through all my massive list like I have to do. Now, for example, if I wanted to respond to that, I'm going to be a bit careful here, but you can see the Copilot icon. What do you want to say in this email? Thank Shri for his help and I will be available. No structure. I'm just letting Copilot do the work. I had a meeting with a partner this morning, another company, and they said, oh, Fiona, I've got problems with staff not putting correct emails. He's very diligent about his structure. I said, don't worry, just do a mind dump to Copilot, whether that's even in Word, for example, or in Outlook, and let it structure and format the email based on your behalf. It's perfect for people with, if English is their second language. And there you go. You saw how I just put a little, even my spelling wasn't correct. But thank you so much for your help. I really appreciate it. And then it's done. You can make it, now, interestingly, shorter, longer. You can change the tone. I like using the casual tone, but if you needed to be very diplomatic in your response, if you've had customer complaints, you might have a staff member that is being a little bit naughty, right? Or naughty may not be the right word, but a little bit abrupt. And so you need to be very diplomatic in your response because it's all obviously, on email. Copilot will help with all of that phenomenally. My boss uses it all the time because he said, Fiona, I'm feeling like as I get older and as I get busier, I'm actually being too direct. So Copilot will make it a little bit more casual and give it some softness. And so your email correspondence, or your correspondence full stop, because you can use this in Teams as well, is a lot more professional. So there's a lot of features here. I'm going to keep moving though, given the situation. Let's bring up Word. I've got a blank document to start with. Now, sorry, I just have to bring this across. I want to show you an example. So bear with me. Rather than me typing, I'm actually going to copy and paste this for you. And I'll be 1 second. I'm just going to put it straight in there and let it go. So what I've said is write a job ad for a business development manager role. Crayon is a global leader as a Microsoft distributor, as well as other software solutions. So I've given it context. Required skills are 3 to 5 years in software sales or BDM in IT. And voila, how many did, I wasn't counting, but I've timed it in the past and it is 8 seconds. How much time is that saving in any content preparation role? I've used this as an example, but if you're in marketing, writing proposals, RFPs, oh look, the content preparation topic is endless. But I like using this because writing job ads is, I think, quite painful, and this will help you. Now, you might say to me, Fiona, that's a bit long. Yes, Copilot can help you shorten it, make it, more succinct. But that is up then to you to actually do that. Now, you may not love the formatting. that's fine. That can all be changed, but at least it's given you a massive head start, which I think would have taken a lot longer than using Copilot in that regard. I'd love to ask everyone for questions, but given that we're in a webinar, we'll keep moving. Now, bear with me. Copilot chat, once again, the consistency in Word, as was in Outlook, as was in Teams, I'll show you in Teams. Actually, I don't think I showed you the Copilot chat in Teams. It is very, very consistent. So you can add images, you can view your prompts, you can save commonly used prompts. So for example, I don't think I've got any in Word, but if I had something that I did repetitively, you can actually save that prompt to save you rewriting it time and time again. But it will give you lots and lots of prompt suggestions if you know, especially in the early days when you're getting to know it. Let me just close that. That's really it. What I'm going to show you now, though, given the time frame, is how I'm going to use another Word document, how to import and create a PowerPoint presentation pretty much within 8 seconds. I've brought up the corporate template, because a lot of people say, well, can it be used in my corporate template, PowerPoint template? And the answer is yes, and that's why I demo it now with this. So we bring up Copilot, and so here's the tips. I said right at the beginning, Copilot, M365 Copilot accesses all of your cloud data. So whether that's on SharePoint or OneDrive. So just for the sake of being really quick, the prompt up there was create a presentation from. Now you'll notice, I'm going to go back so that you can see this again. The / button allows you to access files. Now, this will bring up the most frequently used files that you have accessed. For the sake of the presentation, actually, I might use this telescript. I've got a telemarketing company that I'm liaising with, and I need to present the script and emails and so on to my management, because I just have to, because that's part of my job role. So I'm going to import the telescript, and I'm going to ask Copilot to create a presentation from that Word document. So it is easier if you open, just from ease of speed, I suppose, open the Word document that you want to import and then just close it, let it refresh, and then you'll have it at the top of your screen to be able to import it. Now, I met with the CFO yesterday. He said, but Fiona, how about Excel? I said, yeah, look, it's not importing an Excel document. You would still need to obviously put some words around that, a description or a title, and then copy and paste that Excel, screenshot or waterfall image, whatever it is, pie chart, for example, into his presentation. But there's lots of ways to make it so much faster. He was blown away. So there you go. It's even given me an agenda, provided images. Images can be changed. These are suggested images. It's given me even my PowerPoint notes. So it's an incredibly easy way and quick way of preparing a presentation. Okay, let's move on. Excel. In the old days, and I talk last year as the old days, last year Excel was a little bit slim. They have improved it a lot. $80 billion is being invested in AI by Microsoft just this year alone. It's phenomenal. So Excel, from an application perspective, and Copilot in Excel has become a lot better. I would recommend, even though you don't have to, always have it as a table. And let me now just go to some prompts to save me a little bit of time. Let me go to some prompts for Excel. So this is a demo, it's a marketing campaign. You can see that it's got budgets, revenues, campaign name, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to ask Copilot to create a pivot table to analyze the total revenue generated by each campaign type, because I'm lazy and I want it to be quick and easy and fast. Now, if you are a CFO or an accountant or in the finance industry, your Excel skills would be, I can imagine, through the roof. Excellent. But it's using Excel to help you just speed up some mundane tasks. So it is, I think, really important for you to, use this, get to know it, push its boundaries. It's there as your assistant. And so that is really important. Now, Copilot will give you an explanation of what it's done. So it's analyzed the data, add to a new sheet without me reading out. But it hasn't given me a graph, but I didn't ask it for it, right? So look at sheet 2. It's given me a pivot table, but I want to actually see a chart. You have to go back to sheet 1 because that's where the main data is. And I'm asking it now. In sheet 2, you created a pivot table to analyze the total revenue, but I want a chart as well, so that it provides that within pretty much 8 seconds, give or take. Add to new sheet. There we go. Now, it's done it both in that sheet. If I wanted to calculate the ROI of each campaign in Excel, it will give me an explanation of what is needed. It'll give me that, but it'll also give me the formula so you can check it. It'll give me, the ROI definition and what you need to do. Insert column. Oops, there you go. Just to make that easy. There's many different prompts that I could go through, but I also don't want to hold up the time for the rest of the team. Let me give you a couple of other examples which I think will save people a lot of time. I'm going to hop back into Teams. The only reason I'm doing that is because Copilot in Teams, or you can actually pin my M365 Copilot icon, I don't know if you can see that, to your taskbar down below, is the main working chat hub, business chat hub. When I was in Outlook and using Copilot Chat, it was only really for Outlook. In Word, similarly. But these two visuals in Teams and in the app give me access to all of my data. The reason I'm bringing this up, I've pinned OneDrive to the Teams application, and I'm doing it on purpose. Let me go to a folder, my demo folder, to show you what I want to show you. I've downloaded, it's a publicly listed company. I'm not doing anything wrong here. It's an annual report, any document. If you want it, Copilot to summarize it, go for it. It's a lengthy annual report. I find it boring. Oh, please. There's always got to be something, doesn't there? I don't know what that sign-in was about because I've been working all day, Copilot. It's going to provide you with a summary within a few seconds. You need to give it a little bit of time, but it's much quicker than you reading the entire annual report. It's like watching paint dry, isn't it? Now, if you're not going to give it to me in a couple of seconds, I will. I'm logged in. It might not be that happy. I'm going to show you another example. Let me summarize just the Word document. Let me see if that works. Might not have liked that PDF. It's Murphy's Law, isn't it? When you're in a live demo and this actually hasn't happened.
It's always the way, Fiona.
Ah, typical. Applying the finishing touches. Thank you, Copilot. I think I need to give it a KPI to be quicker. It's not being happy. It's not happy for doing this. I'm going to just give it one more. I've got 2 resumes here. Let me just see if it's going to compare my files and see if it's going to work there. Sorry, guys, it doesn't normally do this, so there must be some little... the app. Let's give it a couple of seconds, otherwise I will... determined to make this work for you. See if this is any better. Give me 1 second. From an Italian background, I'm not going to take no for an answer. I'm a final Queenslander, by the way. I'm a Queenslander. Let me see if this is going to do any difference to prove my point. I've had to do with my... Fantastic. Thank you. And there you go. I'm glad I persevered. And let me just quickly show you. If you're in a recruitment role, you're a business owner, and you needed to compare a number of documents, in this case, CVs, and you were a little bit unsure, compare files. It won't take long, 335 or 235, it won't take long. So it will provide you with a table showing the comparison of each of these people to make your decision-making process easier. I'm glad that worked. Thank you. So there must have been something, a little bit of a hiccup with my Teams. I'm sorry about that. Just on my closure, there is an art and there is a real art in how you talk to Copilot. And I really wanted to cover this off quickly. It's really important to tell you Copilot what you need. You can tell with some of my prompts, because that's the terminology you use. You need to set it a goal, give it some context. You're in HR, you're the operations manager, you're the CFO. Give it context, provide it source material, files, for example, and set the expectation of how long you want the document or what the document is to be like. This gives you an idea. So treat Copilot as your 18-year-old. If you have a teenage son, daughter, as your 18-year-old or teenage son or daughter. If I ask Dylan to clean his room, he won't do it. Dylan, please clean your room, put your clothes away in the closet, pick all your clothes up, wash your sheets by 5 p.m. today, and it will get done. So there is a difference between a good prompt communication with Copilot and what is best. And like I said, that is all in the training. So speak to us afterwards if you're interested in the product. But I'm going to hand it back to Aaron. Thank you, and thank you for your perseverance with the little hiccups. But I hope that showed you the time saving, what you could, literally time saving from day one. Thanks again, guys.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much. I think it was always going to be ambitious running a live demo with Copilot, especially with live files. But look, you did great. And the whole point of that particular particular session was to just highlight some of the areas where you can get immediate value from an investment in Copilot or introducing that into your business. So we only just scratched the surface, but there's areas where no matter where you sit within the business, your job role, etc., there's ways that you can leverage the power of it. So now we'll segue over to Jackson. You ready, mate? I'm getting the thumbs up. So we're going to kick over to Jackson, and we're going to explore AI and automation, and really taking your business, that opportunities for taking your business that little bit further. Over to you, Jackson.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. So I'm going to look at more like automation stuff, more like how AI can help you, like your broader team, and maybe help you doing stuff without actually seeing it do anything. Talking about offloading your work to the robots, which can work 24/7 and all the time without even seeing it. Yeah, so the first thing I want to touch on is SharePoint agents. It's a newer feature of Copilot. They brought agents into SharePoint, and you can create these sort of interactive chatbots as you go, which are based on your data. They have knowledge about your data and as something you can talk to and just get insights as you go. You can share your agents around your team so that you can give other people access and quickly have them be able to catch up on documents and stuff that you've created. Maybe like you're running a project or something for a week and you've got a new contractor coming in, you want to give them this agent, and then they can find out what's relevant to them and they can just ask this agent. The Copilot license is required to make agents, but enabling pay-as-you-go billing means you can give the agents to anyone, and anyone can ask these questions and get these insights about your data. Next up, I have a demo of doing one of these. So here I am going to make an agent about our ISO files. So I'm just going to click the folder and then agent, and then click open agent, and it shows up on the side there now. So the agent's been made. If you look in the left in the file tree, you can see the actual agent file that you can share. We can prompt it about encryption policies. It'll look through our documents, and then it'll give us an output that sort of reviews and tells us how our encryption policies are working within our company. I didn't like that response was so long. I don't want to read that. In fact, I don't ever want to read that. So I'm going to make it so that it just gives me a 2-sentence long response. I'm going to say, your response should be 2 sentences or less. And I can also change what the what the suggested prompts are going to be. If people are going to interact with my agent, I think they're probably going to want to talk about encryption. So let's make that one of the key, like the suggested prompts. Okay, so now I go back and I can look at my new agent, and now I can click the suggested prompt and then just hit enter, and now I can get a response about that. It's much shorter. Yeah, this agent can be shared with other people. So I can give anyone access to this agent within what my organization allows me to share files as. And they can then prompt that and then get information that they already have access to based on what their file permissions are. And when the prompt gets generated, it'll give them references to where it actually got that information from. So if there is any like, oh, I'm not sure about that, or I want to know more about that thing that the agent just told me about, they can click into the document and then find out more and read sort of the context regarding it. The way agents are working, so all of Copilot is based on this Microsoft graph. Agents mean that you can, they give you a natural language way of consuming information that's in your SharePoint libraries. The SharePoint libraries are within the graph. As a more holistic thing, Copilot and Copilot agents mean that you can with natural language and just everyday speak, you can find out information within your Microsoft tenancy and what Microsoft knows is about data within your org. Not all of our data is already stored within our tenancies, so Microsoft has a way of dealing with that. And there are pre-built connectors, so we can bring in our information from file servers and SQL databases. If there isn't a connector for it, we can create a custom connector. You create that connection, you bring it into Microsoft, and now you've enabled yourself the ability to search within your just within your Microsoft environment. Any like biz chat or anything, you can just ask it questions about that. And now, because it has information about that data, it can give you responses based on that data. Yeah, and connectors is what enables that. We did this within Atlantic Digital. We use Freshservice as a ticketing system. And so we designed this connector to connect our information to a AI model that we hosted in Microsoft Azure. As a result of that, because I created the connector, I could configure the search. I can cater it so that, like, oh, this part of a ticket is more, I care about this information more than this other information. I can control how Copilot looks at that data and what it thinks is reasonable that I might care about. I can provide a different context for, if I am asking you about this, I probably care about this kind of thing more. With that model that we created, we were able to demonstrate that we could ask it questions about a ticket, and we could retrieve similar tickets and get summaries of what was done. We could get possible resolutions for a IT issue that we were facing, that we'd had faced previously. Connecting this up to our internal knowledge base meant that we could provide client-specific explanations for problems, like how is a server set up, how is emails configured at this client. But we could ask it where an approval should go. If we need to request approval on some process, who should that approval go to? And although we didn't do this, the next obvious step for that would be send the approval automatically. And so instead of one of our agents having to troll through tickets and work out what needs to be sent for approval, we just have an AI agent sitting in the background that's doing that automatically, and freeing up that agent to do other more complicated, more intensive things that aren't just looking something up in a table. Moving on to more sort of automation focused things. AI is really good at transforming your unstructured data into more of a structured form and understanding what you've got. This example here, we've got something that is structured. It's just a raw output from a firewall somewhere. And we can pass that through a model and say, I don't really like how that's looking. Can you give it to me in a form? I think the prompt I use here is just, I want it to look like this: device name, event, user, reason, date, and then run that. And now it automatically turns that garbage on the left into something nice and pretty on the right. Because it's AI, changing this was really easy. We decided we wanted to get some more information out of it. I want to now see the IP and the method. I add those 2 extra lines onto what I want my desired output to be, and then it starts doing that instead. There's no real extra work there. It's highly configurable, and it just runs all the time. No one has to monitor it. We just get to see what's nice on the output. This kind of automatic data processing can be extended to just regular documents. So maybe you aren't getting a log from a firewall, but you do have invoices coming in all the time. And currently you have someone that takes those invoices, they enter all the information into the system, and then it sits there waiting for the next person, or waiting to be exported and put into a spreadsheet somewhere where all of that information can be collated. Microsoft has really nice document recognition models, which out of the box are designed to look at invoices and just get information out. It doesn't have to be an invoice that's seen before. It just, if you tell it's an invoice, then it goes, oh, I know what an invoice kind of looks like, and it works it out. So very quickly, without any kind of configuration there, you've got a system where you can scan a document and it's just in. What else have I written here? Yeah, you can build workflows where that kind of information then goes into that spreadsheet. All of the data manipulation that you've done to that spreadsheet later, you can automate that as well. You automatically get it to do that manipulation itself. You plug an AI in and you go, hey, compare this stuff, and then give me the report out afterwards. Yeah, you can make, yeah, you can. It doesn't have to just be invoices. If you've got some engineering system and you've got people in the field that are, say they're recording defects and stuff that they see, and after that you're supposed to create an action plan for how we're going to address that. We make it so that the defect, it automatically goes into a model. The model goes, I know what your action sheets are supposed to look like. Here's what I reckon you need. Okay, and then it's given to the person, and someone doesn't have to design that action sheet. Now the only thing they have to do is go, oh yeah, I like it, approve, send through. Yeah, so the document processing is very valuable, I think. Being able to process this data can go further. I mentioned we can process this natural language data into, and like unstructured forms into more structured data. We can take that a step further and turn it into something really discrete and quantitative, so we can start measuring things. Instead of just turning it into something that we look at, we turn it into numbers and we can start graphing these things. The one that I think about, thought about most recently was, if you've got a bunch of information coming through about like, what's the new news in my industry, how we want to stay relevant and stuff. How do we make sure that our marketing material is hitting the right spots? How do we make sure that I'm showing up on search engines properly? What keywords and ideas should I be focusing on? You can just subscribe to a bunch of news sources, make sure that you have know where all of this news is coming from, and then plug that into an AI, and the AI and tell the AI, I need to stay relevant in this area. I want you to look out for what's happening, and then start processing those keywords and going, okay, this has been talked about a lot. Maybe you need to consider this. People are using this word a lot. People are responding really positively to this kind of marketing and not so positively to this kind of marketing. That kind of sentiment analysis to work out not just how is your business being received, but how are other businesses being received when they're talking about these kinds of topics. Yeah, it all essentially comes down to bringing all your data into this one centralized location, being your Microsoft environment, and then having these AIs process it and turn it into something that is meaningful to you and that says all the things that you need it to say. It tells you what's going on, how you can keep up. You put it into a tool like Power BI, and you've got these automatically generated dashboards that are more or less live, because they're constantly just ingesting that information, and there's some automation in the background running all the time, just putting it into something. Yeah, and so now you've got this nice dashboard and this process data that you can look at and understand at a glance. And if you wanted to dig into it further, you can use Copilot in Power BI to help you dig into that kind of information. Ask it, can you identify any trends that I might have missed? What else might be going on here that I don't immediately see? Because an AI can see all of the data. You can see everything that's in front of you. Copilot can see everything that is there. It has this greater understanding of your data and it's going to match these patterns much faster. Yeah. Also, on this note of automation, using tools like Power Automate have always been ways to improve employee efficiency, putting putting automation tools in the hands of the people that are doing the tasks so that they can make their own lives easier and improves their own business processes. Automating things makes things faster. It also means less mistakes because you're removing the element of human error. Copilot in the Power Platform, specifically Power Automate, means that it makes it even easier for an employee that hasn't even touched Power Automate to try and do one of these things. You can go into Power Automate. I think right in front of you, it gives you the box that says, what do you want to do? You type in, when I get an email from such and such, I want to automatically file it over here. I'm going to have to send a form to them as well. So let's send a Microsoft form to them that I've made ahead of time so that I can request some more information. I also need to send another email off to this other person when I get that. You tell it that pretty much how I just did then. Power Automate will generate the draft for you. It'll draft up the process. It's in this really nice low code environment, so it's easy for people to see and understand what's happening and drag and drop the blocks and be like, oh, I wanted to send an email first, actually. And then they can go in and they can update how they want their workflow to go. They can maintain it themselves, and they've always got Copilot in the side, similar to what you saw with Fiona working in Word and stuff. The Copilot can pop up on the right, and you can just ask it questions. Why did it fail? How can I improve this? And you've always got this nice Copilot assistant to help you, despite maybe you're brand new to this and you've got no idea how Power Automate is working. It makes the starting point really faster. And you can start promoting this culture of, if there's no point actually doing the process, then skip the process and just get to the end result. Automate the tedious, boring work, because no one really wants to do that. And you don't want to be paying someone to do that because a robot can do it. Yeah, in the end, it all comes down to old automation was programmable tasks that you had to tell ahead of time what to expect and what exactly to do. AI is this great tool that means that you don't have to tell it exactly what it's going to get and exactly what you want when it sees something. You don't have to tell it, if yes, then this, if no, then this. You can tell it, if maybe, kind of, sort of, then work it out. Work out if that is a yes or a no. And then you can give more of your previously unautomatable tasks to this AI that can just sort of work it out. And you can watch it and you can go, I didn't like how you did that one. Let's try it differently in future. Copilot, immediately out of the box, you can generate Word documents, you can generate emails, you can summarize things. You've got all of that individual automation and quality of life improvement where, like, I don't have to read tons of words anymore. I can just get the 3-sentence automation at the end. The next step of introducing AI into our businesses is making it so that we don't have to prompt it even. We set up a system that automatically does all of this prompting and AI processing. And then at the end, we turn up to work in the morning, we sit down, and it's just there. This is what I've done last night. This is the stuff that you need to do. And you look at it and you go, nice. That's the stuff I actually care about and want to do. Yeah, it's all about offloading our work to the robots so that we don't have to do anything that a robot can do quicker, faster, and more reliably because it's boring. I'll hand it back to Aaron now to close us out.
Thanks, Jackson. Spoken like a true programmer, AI evangelist. No, that was really great. Thank you so much, and thank you, Fiona, as well, and thank you everyone for attending today. We're going to leave the session open for a few more minutes, just so that we can pick up any final questions through the live Q&A. So feel free to ask any final questions before we sign off. I truly hope that you all learned something valuable today. please scan the code on the left to book your free consultation. There's a full booking system there. Fill out a couple of minor details, and you'll be able to pick a time that suits you. All bookings will be entered into the draw for a chance to win a 12-month Copilot 365 license on us. And the draw itself will take place on April 1st, and we'll announce the winners in our newsletter, which is a great opportunity for us to mention. If you're not signed up for our newsletter yet, you can find the subscription link and QR code on the bottom right of your screen right now. And look, before we wrap up, I ask you all, just take a moment to reflect on the power of AI and its transformative impact on businesses, large and small. AI technologies are not just tools, they're catalysts for change. They're driving efficiency, they're driving innovation and growth at unprecedented scales. Imagine automating mundane tasks, as Jackson was saying, gaining insights from vast amounts of data in seconds, and making smarter decisions that propel your business forward. By adopting AI today, you position your business to stay ahead in a highly competitive landscape, streamline your operations, and unlock new opportunities for success. The future is here, and ask anyone, ask Jackson, he'll tell you it's all powered by AI. So thanks again, thanks everyone, and bye for now.